Greetings, Dr. Joseph Martin out here in beautiful nature in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Welcome, nice to see you again, and trust that your day is moving well. Happiness and the liberation of consciousness. All any of us want, everyone on the planet, all 7 billion of us, including the animals, just want happiness. Thing is, it's a hard thing to do. It's when you grasp it and go for it, it doesn't happen because it's like trying to grab air. There's nothing there when you close your fist. Happiness can never be gotten just by going after it. And we all know that money certainly does not bring us happiness. We've all found that out either tragically or through any other means. When I worked with a lot of people who were the wealthiest people in the country here in psychotherapy in my clinics in Toronto, I realized that many of them were the unhappiest people I knew, so money won't do it. Well, what is happiness? Happiness is contentment, it's joy, it's the ability just to be content with oneself in whatever situation you're in. It's the blessedness that comes when your heart is always full of joy, and it's the bliss that you feel when you're doing what you love, whatever that may be in relationships and also in a passionate career. Not work, just a lovely career that you choose. Consciousness. What is consciousness? It's awareness, it's awakeness, it's all the thoughts and feelings that we have, it's how we use our willpower, it's the ability to evolve and grow. It's the consciousness that comes and goes with us that allows us to move into it. Consciousness, as we know in physics, the unified field, and in psychology and in social cultural anthropology, it's actually a cultural ethos. It's a cultural psyche. It's a worldview. It's a experience of being part of something, whether the universe, a culture, a religion, a society, a family, an ethnic group, whatever. But it does exist on its own, and it's something that can come and go through you in different ways. And we need to know what consciousness is in order to understand how to liberate it. Most people today, coming out of a dark age that we've been in for about 2,000 years, would say that most of us are unconscious. We do things unconsciously, we think things unconsciously, we're programmed through propaganda by society and marketing and advertising and school and education and other institutions, social institutions of all kinds, to just believe that what we call doublespeak, if you like, from George Orwell's 1984. So coming to consciousness is the greatest thing you can do in your life. There's only one thing you can do in your life, and that is come to consciousness. Because if you stay in unconsciousness, truly your life will be over before you even start. You will be dead spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically in other ways. And illness can come, as we know, when we do not have a healthy mind and healthy heart and feelings and emotions. Now, a lot about ourselves we need to know in human nature is that we're very oppositional, we're very complementary in the sense that we have two sides of everything in our life. And I'd like to point out more psychological sides of human nature to do with ethics and morality now. Now, in every spiritual tradition, there are the 7 virtues and the 7 vices. They're simply common to all humanity. What are these virtues and vices that we all have inside ourselves? And we need to choose what would work best for ourselves. Every moment, with every person, in every situation, in every activity, with strangers and friends and loved ones, and even enemies especially, we need to know how to think, feel, and act responsibly. So the 7 virtues and their related vices are these. First of all, sexual responsibility as a virtue, so that can bring you some fulfillment in a physical way with sensations, as opposed to lust and lusting after other people. Then we would have love or charitableness as a way of always thinking well and thinking in good terms about other people and wishing them well and giving them what they need, as opposed to the other side, which is just pure greed, which would be taking what others have. In a new term I just learned, pleonexia, which is the need to take what others have just so they won't have it, not because you want it, just so that they won't have it. That would be the term greed. Now, another virtue is diligence or devotion. It's very important. It's the way you responsibly act with yourself and all our relations in the world. The opposite of that would be sloth and laziness. People, of course, we all have a bit of that in us, don't we? The sloth and laziness to do hardly anything with your life, which leads to boredom, apathy, addictions, and a sense of non well being. Another virtue is patience, and this may be even one of the greatest ones in this very fast paced, busy world when everyone is being treated as objects. The patience to move through your life in an honorable way with a lot of valor and courage, and to be patient with other people who are obviously very anxious and moving around too quickly unconsciously. The opposite of patience then would be anger, wrath, and rage. And of course, we see a lot of that on the roads, in driving, and also just in geopolitics in the world. The next virtue is kindness, perhaps again one of the great ones. Of course, they're all important, aren't they? Kindness is just giving yourself the respect to look after yourself and giving all our relations, every other living being, humans, animals, plants, trees, the respect to have their own life. And the opposite of that would be, of course, envy, wanting to not have, not take the kind approach in every way you can, but also just being jealous and envious of everyone else and being disrespectful, even hateful and hurtful, very unkind. Now, again, we all have this. These are the two sides. It's like our light side and our dark side. Our honest side is the part in the middle path, as the Buddha would have it, where we're honest about all these things in ourselves. And that honesty is coming to consciousness. And that's where liberation happens. Every moment and every now, with every thought, with every feeling, with every choice and every chance to change that you have, you can come to consciousness and liberate yourself. And that in itself will give you contentment and happiness. Now, the last one we have here would be humility, and that's perhaps again connected with love and kindness. Just the giving over of self, that there's a higher power, if you like, however you deem it, the creator, however you feel it in yourself, a higher spirit that knows us, has created us, and we have a humble relationship with all our relations, including especially the creator. The other side to that is ego pride, false pride, and always wanting more than other people have and having our way in things. And we see that a lot. And of course, we always have a choice to change in any moment. Now, when you liberate yourself from consciousness that is unconscious, what holds us back mostly is guilt, shame, vanity, self judgment, anger, anxiety, fear, dread about the future, and obsessions and compulsions and addictions that tie us up in knots inside in a very hugely dysfunctional way that's unhealthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And that is what holds us back from our liberating consciousness. To self responsibly deal with these issues by psychotherapy, by reading, by intuition, by a lot of deep inner healing, and always we will need someone else to help us through this path. This is the way to move forward and liberate your consciousness or your unconsciousness to a higher place and really enjoy this so great. Well, I'm sitting out here in nature and I have two little baby rabbits on my feet. They've just come over. They're wild rabbits, but because they know they're loved, we feed them carrots. I've got one baby on my right foot and another baby on my left foot. They're so cute. They're just this big. And in animal medicine, rabbit is fear. And the fact that these wild rabbits are here on my feet listening to me talk with you and share with you suggests that we can overcome all our fears. And we can love all the creatures. This little rabbit's on my left foot nibbling at my toes, and that's quite lovely in itself. Hi, baby. Do you want a carrot? In any case, that shows that all fears can be transformed into love, kindness, respect, and sharing. And what makes me happy in this very moment is that these two little baby brown rabbits, who are wild, they're on my toes and they're like playing around and jumping and having fun. That makes me happy. None of that was expected. It just happens on its own. That gives me just a sense of inner well of joy and life and vitality and contentment. And all that matters is the joy of having these rabbits and sharing with you. You know, self worth, self esteem, self confidence is the biggest part of our happiness and contentment and well being as individuals, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and relationally. And that can only come when you do this process. The self worth will develop again. It's a secondary thing. You can't go for it because grasping for self worth will be nothing. There'll be nothing in your hand. It means nothing until you do your inner work. And you do your inner work with diligence and devotion, humility, and respect and kindness to yourself. Put yourself first. Do this every moment of every day and every night. And all happiness will come to you. You will experience the internal love that you are and the bliss that is just a fountain of joy, overwhelmingly beautiful for you. All my love and blessings, Om Namah Shivaya, Dr. Joseph Martin out here in beautiful nature with the little baby rabbits.